What's up, agents? Zer here, welcome back to the lab, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys the brand new 1.14 Buzzy Bee update to Minecraft Bedrock Edition. This is obviously the latest full update to the game. The current beta builds for Bedrock Edition is 1.15. So if you have 1.14, then you have these features, or maybe you're still waiting for the update itself. Not 100% sure what devices you guys have, but you guys get my point. And the community has been given some pretty interesting stuff in this update, and they've been giving some fairly positive feedback as well on this update. And let's go ahead and get started. Now, I do want to mention there will be a link down in the description to the entire changelog for this update. However, I will not be discussing a lot of the stuff that's on that changelog, and the reason for that is because the majority of it is bug fixes, and there are certain things that I will not be discussing as well. And the reason for that is because I just want to focus on the bees and their functionality in this particular video. So let's get started with this guy right here. This is the bee, obviously. Now, he does have quite a bit of functionality, and we will discuss that later on. But as far as aesthetics are concerned, he's got these two little wings that he's using to fly, 6 legs down below, 2 antennae, and a stinger out the back. And he has 3 different textures to them, maybe potentially a 4th. I'm not 100%. Actually, yeah, he's got 4 different textures, I should technically say. And, well, we're going to discuss 2 of the textures later on in the video, but we're going to go ahead and look at this texture right here. This is a pollinated bee, and this is basically when he's flying around collecting pollen from flowers, which is an important feature to the actual bee itself. And these particles that are dangling off of him actually have potential to act as bone meal on your crops, which is actually legitimately useful, to be completely honest. I will say that much. So essentially, maybe you don't have access to maybe a skeleton farm of some sort and you need crops fast. Well, admittedly, it's not going to be super fast, but it will at the very least have a chance to increase your crops growth at least a bit quicker than normal. So hopefully that makes some amount of sense. I know I didn't say it in the best possible way, but I imagine you guys get what I mean. And next up we have ourselves, okay, we just had a guy pop out just in time too. We've got ourselves the beehive and the bee nest, and these are 2 entirely different blocks. They have pretty much the same functionality, and I'm actually looking at this guy for the moment because I want to watch him change to the pollinated version, because they're actually interacting with that flower right now. There we go. Okay, so we just interacted, and it looks like he's going to pop back into either the hive or the nest momentarily. Not 100% sure which the dude he's going to go into. But yeah, so this right here is the bee nest on the left, and this on the right is the beehive. Functionality wise, these are the exact same block. However, how you get these 2 blocks is entirely different, so do keep this in mind. The beehive, this is player crafted and does not naturally generate inside of the world. And then we have our bee nest. This one does naturally generate inside the world. It generates underneath birch and oak trees, and they only really have a 5% chance to generate. And the biomes that these can generate in are plains, sunflower plains, and flower forest biomes. And speaking of flower forest biomes, these are actually the best biomes to potentially find these because of the amount of trees in them. You have a much greater chance of finding these bee nests. So that's actually pretty nice, all things considered. And admittedly, you are going to have to find completely brand new chunks if you want to find these. So if you have a preloaded world that you're playing off of, maybe a realm or maybe a single player realm, doesn't really matter, you may potentially have to go quite a ways to find a new biome that could potentially generate these, because obviously, like I just said, you need to find new generated chunks. But that pretty much goes for the majority of all features that come to the game. Now, we're going to go ahead and move on to some crafting stuff. We have 2 new items, the honey bottle and the honeycomb. I will discuss how you guys get these a little bit later, but let's discuss the crafting recipes first. So if we take 4 honey bottles like this, you will create yourself a honey block, which is pretty nice. You will get the bottles back, by the way, when you craft this. And because it's a 2x2, you can craft this in your normal inventory without requiring a crafting table. If you take just a single honey bottle, you can craft it into 3 sugar, which is kind of nice. And also, you can eat these, and this will give you 6 hunger points and 2.4 saturation. It also will remove poison as well, which actually is going to be helpful later on. Not too bad, all things considered. And yeah, these stack in sets of 16, unlike potions, which is pretty useful at least. And the reason for that is because it makes it a lot easier to craft a bunch of these at once. This is actually something that the community kind of complained about Mojang basically fixed, so that's actually not too bad. I do like the fact that it does this, so not too bad, like I said. So it's better than like maybe some stews, although admittedly some stews do give some pretty decent food points, I will say that much, but at least you can carry a bunch around without it taking up too much space, which is nice. And then this is the honeycomb, and it creates the honeycomb block, and literally the honeycomb block is just simply a decorative block. I do not know whether or not Mojang plans to add extra functionality later on. That is to be determined. No one's really asked that question though, as far as I'm aware. But honeycomb can also be used to craft the beehive that we saw earlier, and it just takes 3 honeycomb and 6 planks, sandwiching the honeycomb together, and that will give you the beehive. And this is what the beehive actually looks like. This is the bee nest up close. You may notice that these actually have 2 slightly different textures. That's because the bees inside of this chamber have been working hard and have actually produced honey, which we're going to get to that in a bit. Whereas these over here, well, technically speaking, these do not have honey in them, but their honey level can increase. And once it reaches a certain point, it will actually change the texture and you can harvest stuff from that. Like I said, I'm going to discuss that a little bit later, but here's what the textures look like. Admittedly, these are empty, like I said, but this is what they look like. This is the front of them. This is pretty much all the other sides, all 3 other sides, and these are the top and bottom textures of each individual block, so not too terribly bad. So we're going to go ahead and go upstairs to the testing room. Actually, before I go upstairs to the testing room, I do want to switch to survival mode. So we have quite a bit of stuff, and yeah, this bee is a bit confused because I have him set to teleport so he doesn't escape. But let's go ahead and discuss the stuff that's going on in here. So first off, these guys are going to go ahead and attract to the flowers. So technically speaking, we did see the 1 tall flowers. It works the same with the 2 tall flowers. They technically are also attracted to wither roses, but obviously wither roses will give the wither effect, which is bad for pretty much every single mob, technically speaking. So yeah, not a good thing for the bees. So let's go ahead and discuss the actual honey block functionality. So if I go ahead and stand right here, so I'm in survival mode, so I can't actually fly. And yeah, I cannot actually jump out of here. I'm trying really hard to go, like I'm spamming. It's not, yeah, I'm spamming my A button and I cannot jump at all. Yeah, so I can't even jump a full block, which that's actually kind of interesting. You can still walk up like half blocks like these slabs, and stairs will obviously work as well. But that's just something I wanted to go ahead and point out. This is actually a rather interesting feature, I'm not gonna lie. There's more to the honey block as far as stickiness is concerned. We're gonna see some of that later in the obsidian chamber. But next, let's go ahead and look at how they differ from slime blocks. And this is actually important to know. So with slime blocks, yeah, so essentially they stick to absolutely everything. And they launch pretty much everything that they end up are attaching to. If that makes any sense. I know they said that weird. So yeah, as you saw, that armor stand pretty much launched forward and launched back. Whereas the honey block, the entity completely sticks to the honey block, which is nice. And for all intents and purposes, these are a different version of slime block. And let me go and show you guys again. Although they are sticking to the blocks and entities, they do not stick to slime blocks. And this is another thing that the community asked for and Mojang ended up fixing, because previously these did stick together, which was not something that was super useful, especially for the redstone community. And speaking of redstone, this is something that is currently in Java Edition and is not in Bedrock Edition for some reason. I'm not 100% sure why. I do not know if this is actually intentional for this particular version or if it's a mistake. But first of all, slime blocks, these are solid blocks, technically speaking, so you can pass redstone through them. Honey blocks, however, are supposed to be transparent, meaning they will not transmit redstone signals, but again, this is not implemented as of right now. Again, I do not know if this is intentional or if it was a mistake, but I did want to mention it regardless. These are not supposed to transmit redstone signals, so this is definitely not really super helpful in certain circumstances. So I want to go ahead and show off how you actually get the honey balls and honeycomb. I know it's been kind of like a long time coming as far as this video is concerned. You need glass bottles and shears in order to get these. You probably guessed the glass bottles for the honey bottles. So I know I'll go ahead and mention really quickly is that if you have campfires underneath your hive and nest, then the bees will effectively leave you alone if you go ahead and harvest this stuff. So it doesn't really matter which of these two you use. Like I said, apart from obtaining them, they function exactly the same, but you get this. And so as you can tell, bees aren't affected. They don't care. Do the same thing with this. And this gives me honeycomb. And I'm not 100% sure if I'm supposed to get 3 honeycomb each and every time, but that's obviously not the point. But if I were to do the exact same thing with the ones that do not have campfires underneath them, look at this. These guys all get extremely mad, and this does not apply to just simply messing with their hive. This also applies if you attack them, which I do want to discuss later. And yeah, it looks like there are some angry pollinated bees. I did not know that was going to be a thing, but apparently it is. So, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do something that I do want to go ahead and show you guys. So, and never mind, these guys are already done being angry at me. So I should be able to do this now. And I did not get the honeycomb, but these guys are mad. And yeah, they attacked me. I just got poisoned. So let me go ahead and eat this. This will go ahead and get rid of the poison as well, which is not too bad. And hopefully these guys will stop being mad at me soon, because something important to mention is that, oh my gosh, they got me again. Okay, you know what, fine. But some of these guys are actually missing their stinger now. They can only really attack once, and those that are missing their stingers, I'm trying to see if I can find one of these guys. Okay, so it looks like this guy doesn't have a stinger. Yeah, once they lose their stinger, they will eventually end up dying, which is pretty sad, admittedly, but that is technically how bees work in real life, I should say. And there's the honeycomb that I got earlier. Alright, so that's how you actually get the honey balls and the honeycomb itself. I do want to go ahead and just do this really briefly. So you can go ahead and not only attract bees with flowers, much like wheat with certain passive mobs, but you can also breed them with this. So let me go ahead and do that. So now they're going to go ahead and go into breeding mode. And we should, yeah, we just got ourselves a little tiny... Wait, where is the little baby bee? I actually don't know. Oh, I think it's right here. It's this guy. Yeah, it's this guy right here. You can go ahead and... Where is the baby bee? Because I know for a fact you can go ahead and increase the speed of which they actually grow by using this, these flowers. Maybe the baby bee's already inside of... No, the baby's right here. Not that it really matters, but yeah. That's how you get baby bees. Alright. So, one thing that you want to go ahead and mention. This is going to be pretty dangerous, admittedly, but this sword has Bane of Arthropods 5, and bees are actually weak to Bane of Arthropods. So if I go and do that, oh yeah, I had a feeling these guys were gonna get angry with me. Alright, so give me a quick timeout. I want to wait until these guys, actually, you know what? I do want to heal, admittedly, but I do want to, actually, you know what? I do need to go into Obsidian Chamber later, and I have a regeneration button inside here, which is going to help me out, so I'm going to do that right now. Alright, so while I wait for these guys to be done angry at me, because I want to show something else off, we actually have the fact that these can actually give off a comparator output, and it's based entirely off of the honey level, and can have up to 5 levels, and once it reaches level 5, then it is 100% full. And I'll have a screenshot up showing you guys it being at lower levels. I don't remember what levels it's at, but yeah, it does show it off, and it actually does interact with dispensers. You can use either bottles, and I really hope this doesn't anger these guys. Nope, it doesn't seem to anger them because it's using redstone. But yeah, we got ourselves a honey ball here. You know what? Let me go ahead and eat this so I get my hunger up. There we go. And then this one right here, we have shears inside of them. And this is going to go ahead and get me my honeycomb. I can't quite tell. Okay, I did get all of the honeycomb. And yeah, it looks like these guys went ahead and increased the honey level. So not too bad. Let me go ahead and put these inside of here for the time being. So I hope these guys are done being mad at me, admittedly. We did lose a couple, maybe 1 or 2 bees from anger, admittedly. I will say that much. But the last thing I want to show you guys, well, this isn't the final thing for this video, but this is the last thing as far as the bees are concerned. Actually, there's 2 things I want to show off. If I go ahead and set this to nighttime, these guys are going to want to go ahead and go inside of their hive or nest. There can only be 3 of them inside of them at a time, so do keep this in mind. And I'm really hoping these guys are going to go ahead and get inside. But I also have this Silk Touch axe right here. And the reason why this is important is because you actually need Silk Touch in order to pick up the nests. If you do not have Silk Touch, you will not get the nest. And also, if you use this in either a nest or a hive, then any bees that happen to be inside them will be saved inside the block, which is pretty nice. It's actually a really good way to transport them in mainly. So you're not going to go to a nest for the night? I actually do not know. Actually, you know what? I will go ahead and show you guys that it is technically nighttime outside. I imagine you guys believe me, but I want to show it off regardless. So yeah, nighttime. All right, so let's go ahead and pick one of these up. And it's actually better to do it at night using this phone. Come here. Let's go ahead and go inside one of your homes, unless you don't have a home just yet. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and pick this up, and I do this. Alright, so I've got these 2, and oh my gosh! Someone's not happy with me. Someone's definitely not happy with me. I was not expecting that. Alright. So let's go ahead and place these down. So if I do that, and I do that, if it becomes daytime, yeah, they are not mad at me, but they do come back out. Wow. Not expecting that. Okay, so we're coming closer to the end of the video. I realize I've had a few distractions, but these bees can be a bit much to have to deal with sometimes, as you can obviously tell. But we actually do need to go into the Obsidian Chamber. You did see this a little bit earlier. And the reason why this is important is because honey blocks actually have a few more functions to them. Now, this scaffolding goes up 15 blocks high, just so you guys are aware. If I go and jump down, I pretty much go down to 4 hearts. And again, this is 15 blocks up. So take this how you will. And if instead of landing on the obsidian like an idiot, and I land on the honey, well, it does reduce fall damage, not completely, but I went down 2.5 hearts instead. And if you couldn't tell, yeah, I am slowed down by standing on the honey. You probably saw it earlier. But one other thing to mention is that you can actually slide down honey blocks, and this occurs to pretty much every single entity as well. So yeah, I'm just sliding straight down all the way to the bottom. No fall damage. Not too bad. And on Java Edition, I know for a fact that you can actually do parkour using this particular mechanic. Supposedly you can keep some amount of momentum. I was not successful. I don't know if it's because I suck or because that isn't implemented into Bedrock Edition just yet. But that's definitely not too bad. So I can go ahead and jump, like, I can jump up and down right here. And I'm just going to go ahead. Can I get in the right position? There we go. So yeah, I could just jump up and down, and I'll just slowly come back down each and every time. But yeah, that's literally all there is that I'm going to be discussing, at least for the sake of this video. Again, there's a lot more stuff that's going to be in this update. Like I said, most of it is going to be bug fixes. I will go ahead and say that much, but I'm not going to be going over that. And there are 3 additional achievements that have been added to Bedrock Edition for this B update. I don't remember what the names of these achievements are. I'll make sure to put the names up on screen during editing, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. I do apologize. But yeah, that's all I'm going to be discussing for the sake of this. Actually, there is one final thing that I'm going to go ahead and show you guys really briefly. So, we actually do have a couple of bee-related character creator outfits. And from what I read, these are going to benefit the World Wildlife Federation. I apologize if I butchered that name, but you guys know what I mean. So we have this bee costume, which, not too bad. I probably should take off my cape to make it a little bit easier to see. We also have, on this face item, I'm pretty sure it's on the face item, or is it headwear? I don't really remember. No, it's going to be headwear if it is. We can also apply antenna, I would have thought. I don't know, it's somewhere in here. I can't quite remember where it is, but I know it's somewhere in here. But yeah, these will go ahead and benefit the World Wildlife Federation if you use it. Oh, is it this? Oh, yep, it's this. I was not looking at it. So yeah, this is what it is. Fortunately, I can't afford it right now, but you guys get my point. But yeah, again, this is why I want to go. Oh wow, my controller decided to spaz out for a moment. But yeah, this is literally all I'm gonna be showcasing, at least for this video. I apologize that's a lot longer than I normally would like to make my videos, but then again, this is a major update to the game, and I want to discuss as much as I possibly could. So yeah, this is where I'm going to go ahead and end things off. So, hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you did, make sure that like button. But more than make sure that subscribe button for future content. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at HCP0 to stay updated. This has been Zer0's. Thank you guys for watching, and with that, I will see you guys later.